Hello there, I am Gifty Auntie and welcome to TSP with Gifty Auntie.
Who can deny Gifty?
No.
I don't think anyone shall. Thank you for having me.
Hello and welcome to TSP with Gifty Auntie. I am Gifty Auntie and you are welcome. Today we have a woman of many parts, a woman of many faces, but as always, and very notable among women who are really powerful and influential and purposeful and know their worth. She is ensuring that there won't be just one Charlotte OSEI. Yes, she's the one. She is into mentoring. She's doing so many things. I asked her, when are you stopping? Ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together even as we welcome the phenomenal Madam Charlotte OSEI. Hey, why have you? Thank you so much. Welcome. Thank you. I'll be back. Welcome back to TSP with Gifty Auntie. And yes, my guest is Charlotte OSEI, Madam Charlotte OSEI. I'm tempted to call her doctor, but just before somebody says you've come to. Well, but before then, let me say thank you to Ayansky Fabrics for my silk fabric. Thank you so much to them. And my, they call it Rich Auntie Boo Boo outfit is by Zaki and Clothes. Zaki, thank you so much to her. Hair by Inshallah GH, makeup The Global, and then of course my beads, bracelets and anklets by Twin Craft. But we are sponsored by Old Mutual and we are so grateful to them. And they have an amazing package. That's Old Mutual Retirement Salary Plan. The new order of retirement is here. Now you can retire on your own terms with a guaranteed monthly income for the rest of your life. Yes, it is possible. Simply invest a lump sum into the Old Mutual Retirement Salary Plan today and start receiving monthly income to enjoy the perfect retirement. It is that easy. The best part is you get to enjoy added benefits on an annual basis. That you receive an annual increase every year. Call Old Mutual on 050-453-4333 or visit www.oldmutual.com or simply dial *789*01 to place a call. That is *789*01# to place a call. Abrabopa ahoto enkwa. Madam Charlotte, good to see you.
Just Charlotte, please. The madam is a bit heavy.
Good to see you, and thank you so much for agreeing to be on. It's been long coming back.
I had a choice. I didn't think.
Actually, that's why you did it. You did it, but thank you. We are grateful.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. What have you been up to lately?
Same thing I've been up to all my life. Living, working, finding peace, joy.
Minding your business.
As always, staying hydrated and minding my business.
Staying hydrated, minding your business.
Yes.
But the last time I heard of you, you were somewhere, was it Liberia, monitoring elections?
No, I didn't. I didn't monitor in Liberia. The last time I was in Liberia was in 2020.
Okay.
I went to help clean up their register. I led a technical team from ECOWAS to clean up their register ahead of their senatorial elections. But after that, I've done other things.
That you haven't done? You haven't been done any electoral
I have.
work in any of the countries?
I'm on the board of the Electoral Institute for Sustainable Democracy in Africa, which is based out of Johannesburg and Abidjan. And by virtue of that, I do a lot of work that is related to elections. Beyond that, I do some, I was in Zimbabwe for election observation, their last election. I'm supposed to be in South Africa later this month for election observation. Sometimes I'm called upon to do training for new electoral commissioners. I do some work with International IDEA. The election work is ongoing.
Right. But I find that interesting, and correct me if I'm wrong, because before you became the EC, the Electoral Commissioner of Ghana, which you were the first female, you know, to head that position, did you had anything to do with elections?
To the extent that before I was first female EC chair, I was also first female chair for the National Commission for Civic Education. And the NCC does work with elections. That was my first. Before then, I was a pure private sector person. I was a lawyer in private practice.
And some would say it was quite daring of you to take on that position at NCC and then to EC, because
I didn't have a choice. Professor Mills was my lecturer and my mentor from the University of Ghana and the Ghana School of Law. And then when he became vice president, I went to join Professor Dowona Hammond to take over his courses at the School of Business, the business school at the time. So I was teaching commercial law and then company law. So he was kind of like a mentor through all that. And then one day he called me and he said, look, you need to come into public service. We need people to serve. And so I tried as I could. Defying him was difficult. So that's how I ended up at the NCC. So I would not claim it as an act of courage. I don't think I had a choice in it. So that's how I got into public service.
But you did. I mean, though you didn't have you could have said no, but you did take on.
I did say no at first. Just thought it was rude, so.
So that's how much of a respect you had for him and the relationship you had with him.
Absolutely.
And I believe he convinced you that it is important you carry out.
He basically said you don't have a choice, you have to do it. We all have to serve, so.
People who have known you for some time before you came into the public space say that you've always been a very private person. Of course, they say you're very fun-loving when you are with your friends, but you've really kept your life quite private. But you get into the space and then your life becomes public.
What they think is my life becomes public, because there was a lot of stuff that was made up as well.
Yeah, no, not about as for that one, but here you are in the public space where everybody and anybody can throw anything at you.
They did throw. But it comes with the territory, so.
But did you have that shock of, what have I done to you?
Some of the stuff was quite base, and that surprised me. I didn't think we could and we should have gone so low. But I also know that, especially for women, and it's not just in Africa, it comes with the territory. So we have to basically brace up and face it.
Would you say that you've been able to recover from some of the really painful things that were thrown at you? Have you been able to recover from it? Have you healed?
No, it's like losing a loved one. There's parts of me that I feel I lost. You never truly completely heal, but you learn to cope and to deal with it. And for women, especially as you would know, it's a bit more complicated because, and in my case, there were attacks on my parents, there were attacks on my identity, there were attacks on my husband, there were attacks on my marriage, there were attacks on my children. So as much as you're trying to heal, you're also trying to carry other people and support them in their healing, my siblings. So it was very invasive. So, but we're still alive, we're still thriving. None of us is in a mental hospital. So I guess God has been good and we survived.
But it doesn't mean that you are all that, sane. Cacao.
I've always been slightly. For those who know, they know. So that's fine. A little is necessary.
You know, you've been there. I mean, of course, before you went there, you had seen it done to other people, you know, maybe not to the extent that you personally experienced, you know, but you knew that there would be a certain level. But since you've been through and I wouldn't say you've come out, because every now and then shots are thrown at you. You take stray bullets. You know, you take stray bullets, even though you've been out of there for
6
God knows how
years.
many years. You still take, you know, that's Ghana for you. But what would you say? For some, they go through this and they make it their cause or their passion to make sure that no woman goes through that level again. Is there an area that you are interested in to hold the hands of women who go into public space?
I do that. Even when I was there, I just do not make it public because I don't even think that is necessary. But I think that women need that support. And I've always said that there's a lot of programs and structures towards pulling women up. But there's very little support for the women who are there, who need to be strong so that they can pull other women up. So I've always done that. I reach out very privately to people when I think they need support. And of course, there are some people who also reach out to me. And it's not just in Ghana.
You're not just in Ghana, you do it.
I have friends, I wouldn't mention
Names,
some African countries that
That's
are going through very difficult times by virtue of the fact that they went into public service. And I check in with them, I chat with them. I'll pray with them, send prayers, just strengthen them and let them know it will pass.
That's another aspect of your life that I follow your page and you have a very strong spiritual life. So.
Yeah. I wouldn't be here if I didn't.
Did it start when you were going through the fire?
No.
Or it's always been?
I've always been like that.
A prayerful woman?
Yeah.
To a certain extent. The way you pause that prayer.
No,
like
it's
the prayer
the woman.
Really.
It wasn't the prayerful. It was the woman bit. I was like, was I prayerful before I became a woman? Or I think I was a prayerful girl as well. So
yeah,
in my own way, yes.
Right. Okay. What did you say to yourself after going through that period and you getting out of that office? What is that conversation you had with yourself that, okay, Charlotte, now you are out of here. What is next?
No, I
didn't have that conversation?
No. No.
Did you have a plan out of there that once I'm out of here, this is where I'm going?
No, I'm not that much of a planner. I'm usually just led.
Okay.
I don't really sit and think, after this, I'm going to do this. No, I'm usually just led. But I know I'll be fine. I always know I'll be fine. The outcome will always favor me, no matter how it goes.
So when all the legal thing and then name calling were going on, and you knew that this is something you're going to get you out of the EC office.
Yes.
You know, you knew they were taking you out. You didn't have a plan that, okay, if it should happen and I go out, this is what I'm going to do.
But I'm a lawyer, and I've always had a law practice, at least from 2007, 2008. I've had a law firm. So, I of course, I knew there's an office I would step into. And I'm also one of those people that I get bored easily, so I don't do one thing. When you mentioned Ayansky Fabrics at the beginning of your interview, I smiled. I was the first to bring Ayansky Fabrics into Ghana.
Oh.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Airport. Yeah. You gave me
some airport. So that was Osu.
Yeah.
So I started doing Ayansky Fabrics like from 2010 thereabouts. So I'm always doing things. I still have a law practice.
Right.
So if you take one job, it's a job. I still have my certificates. I still have myself. So far as you have your skills and you have your mind, you'll be fine, and you have God.
Is this something you recommend for every woman, to have multiple streams of income?
There were four streams in the Garden of Eden.
There were
4 streams
in the Garden of Eden.
Yes.
Take me there.
4 rivers.
4 rivers.
You shouldn't depend on one source.
You should not depend on one source. No. You must always have other streams.
Yes. I don't recall when I've only had one source of income, no. No.
Let me ask you this, then we'll move away from here.
Okay.
If you had won the case, or say, let's say, if the court had ruled that you can't be taken out because there's nothing found, against you or what, forget about whatever can, but if the court had ruled that no, you can't take her out of office, would you have stayed?
I would answer that in my book.
Oh, you're coming out with a book.
No,
great.
I will write at some point. I think I owe history that.
To tell your own story.
To tell my own story.
Yeah.
One of my core beliefs as a person is that it's not what people call you that matters, it's what you answer to. So I reject labels. I really don't. You can call. I would reject it. I would live my life authentically on my own terms. And one of the things that happens when you go into public service is that they label you. They fill in they fill in their own gaps. My youngest daughter has this thing of she'll go on the internet. I saw this picture of this boy. They said that's your saying. We'll just have a laugh. So there's a lot out there. But I think that I owe it to, especially the young women, to speak my own truth. Yeah. And eventually I'll do it.
Eventually. At some point. In your own time.
It's too busy now.
You seem like someone who really does things in her own time.
That's true.
You don't, regardless of whatever, I'll do it if I want to do it. That's you.
I've always been like that. If I believe it's right, if I believe the timing is right, I'll do it. Not because somebody's yelling that do it.
Yeah.
So, no.
What did your children say to you when you were going through all that?
Oh, they were concerned.
That moment they saw you crying and you didn't want them to see you crying.
No, I don't do that.
They didn't see you crying?
Nope.
You hid it from them?
I didn't cry through that. Those kinds of things don't make me cry.
You have tears under your eyes.
I do. I think my children went through pain that they should not have gone through. Trauma, to a certain extent. Yeah. That upset me a lot.
Yeah.
And I felt, mom guilt. I felt guilty, even though it wasn't my fault, for putting them through that.
Yeah.
There was a lot of betrayal by people we considered friends of the family. And so all of a sudden, uncles and aunties who could come into the house at any time, open cabinets, eat, make coffee, disappeared. And so you had to manage them through that. Yeah. Those ones were painful.
We'll get to what your husband said, but let me take a break. When we get back, we'll get into, I know you're back in school now. Are you in school as in learning or in school as in teaching? You have to tell me that.
So from the year 2003 or so, I took a decision that every year I'd learn something new. Then, of course, so I did a master's in business leadership, finished that. Then I did a course in public-private partnerships, I finished that. And then sometimes there's nothing academic, something as simple as learning how to make soaps and body lotions, and I'll do it. But the EC years, NCC years were so busy, I didn't. So I I did a few online courses, but nothing substantial. And this year I decided that, you know what, I needed to do. I'm going to be 30 years at the bar this year. I decided to do something different. So,
are you a restless soul?
In certain respects, yes.
Let me say thank you to Juice Time, from the farm to the factory to the bottle to the shelf, and then to All Cuisine. Thank you so much, House of Food, Auntie Vera and the team. We are so grateful. Thank you to Mrs. Oforipoku and the family. Yep Cleaning Services. They make sure our environments are clean. And then, of course, to E-Gardens, the healing place for this beautiful crawling plants. You love plants too. Your house has roses and all sorts of plants. We'll come to talk about that. But I need to come there and see. I hear you are so jealous of your plants and you are so stern.
Who are these gossips? Who are all these concert people?
I'll be back. Welcome back to TSP with Gifty Auntie, and my guest is Charlotte OSEI, the woman. Okay, well, let me say thank you to Ayansky for my fabric, and my outfit is by Zaki Unclothed. Thank you so much to them. My beads and this, ivory ring is by 20 Crafts. So thank you to The Global for my makeup and hair by Inshilo G8. And we are sponsored by Old Mutual. And Old Mutual has a product that you and I need to take advantage of. It's for women and men over 50 years. But if you have below 50 years, you can also apply or take advantage of it to save for your parents or relatives or loved ones. It says Old Mutual Retirement Salary Plan. The new order of retirement is here. Now you can retire on your own terms with a guaranteed monthly income for the rest of your life. Yes, that is what it is. Simply invest a lump sum into the Old Mutual Retirement Salary Plan today and start receiving monthly income to enjoy the perfect retirement. It's that easy. The best part is you get to enjoy added benefits of an annual increase every single year. Call Old Mutual on 050-453-4333 or visit www.oldmutual.com or simply dial star 789. Yes, star 789 star 01 hash to place a call. Abrabopa. Ahoto Enkwa. Charlotte, have you cried before?
Oh, of course. I'm human. I'm human.
But you feel like somebody who keeps everything inside. You keep...
No, that's not true. No.
You imbibe things.
I have a lot of resilience. I must say that. I have a lot of strength. I think I was just built that way.
Is it an intentional, deliberate attempt to actually not express emotions?
You think I'm not expressive? I don't think so. My friends will tell you I'm very expressive.
But you
and very emotional.
Very emotional.
Yeah. But you see, one of the things I think people need to learn beyond emotional intelligence is emotional mastery.
Emotional mastery.
It's really important. You must learn some level of control. You do not react to everything. Some people just tend to overreact. It's lack of emotional mastery. It's not everything I react to. I'm just that way. Or I've become that way.
You've become that way.
Yeah.
Would you go back into public office?
I would hope not.
But you never know.
Well, God...
As a woman of faith, as God directs, as
that's
God leads.
That's the thing. I've come to see that God usually has plans for us that are not in line with our own plans for ourselves. So I would hope not.
This year, 30 years at the bar.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you're still running your firm?
I'm still running my firm. Yeah.
And, nobody said, I am saying it. No, I see a lot of young women going into law now.
That's good. It's brilliant.
Is it good?
Yes, very good.
Because, are you sure it's good?
Why would it not be good?
There's so many. Anyway, the fact that they become law doesn't mean that they all become, of course there's, I heard you talk about that before, that there are various...
I've had the most varied law career of anyone I know. I'm not saying
you are the only one that hasn't done it.
I'm saying that I don't know anyone who's had a law career as varied as I have. And I just think through all the things I've done in this last 30 years, and I think there's massive opportunities for young women. There's so much they can do with it. I mean, I never thought my career would take me to some of the places it's taken me to, but it's been absolutely brilliant. God has been like incredible. So there's so much to do there. A law career doesn't mean ending up in litigation, no. In fact, litigation is the one thing I haven't done, other than I think my first year in practice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you've done more of corporate, more of human rights.
If I think through, started at a law firm, private practice. I went into banking. I was lecturing. I lectured law. I've done legal research that I was paid for. I've done lots of consultancies in different fields, in elections, in corporate law. I've done legislative drafting. I drafted a set of business laws for Liberia. I've managed a law firm. I've done elections. I've done elections consulting. I've done boards. I've been on boards of private companies, public companies, international not-for-profits. It's just so much variety. So why would anyone not want to do law? I think it's a fantastic choice of career. I think with mentoring, you have to make time. It is a responsibility. You have to make time. It's a juggle. It's not easy. It's not easy at all. I have all kinds of responsibilities, but you need to pace yourself. You need to learn balance. You need to know when you're tired. And I'm not afraid to say no. And most people who know, I have it on my WhatsApp status. Don't call. Text me. If it's not textable, make it textable. Because I juggle so many things that sometimes I think is rude, but it's really that I don't have the time. And sometimes I'm so tired, if you insist and have a conversation with you, the following day I don't remember.
Right.
Then 3 days later, I'll be like, oh shoot, I was supposed to call Gifty. If you had sent a message, I'll go through and out.
You see it.
And a lot of things that people will take 1 hour of your time talking about, I would read your message in 2 seconds.
And you get it.
Yeah, except for people like Akosia V and Bridget who insist on voice notes. Yeah, those two. Voice notes I don't particularly like. But those two send very funny voice notes, so I don't mind listening to their voice notes. But usually I'm a reader. I'd like to just read and then I'll deal with it. Yeah.
You're on social media, but not so active.
Oh, you noticed?
Yes.
I thought I was very active.
No. You're not very active, you know. You have your seasons.
You know what, exactly, but that's like, I get, those messages, I'm sure you get that when people send that, oh, we can do this for you to increase the number of your...
Yes.
I don't care.
That's the thing, you don't care about the numbers, you know. You just go, you put up your
what I feel like, when I feel like,
then you go. But do you think it's a tool?
It's a great tool.
Effective tool, especially for women to advance.
For what? For what, though?
To advance their courses.
What is their course?
You know, if they want to go into business or promote their trade or skill or something.
Absolutely fantastic. Social media is like most things in life. It depends on how you use it. A phone is a good thing, but it can also be a very bad thing. So what are you doing with social media? And I tell people, I said, social media, I find it great. I know who I follow. I don't follow just anybody. And people send me stuff. I'm like, no, there's I don't listen to this person. I block what I listen to and what comes into me. So it depends on what you do. If you're going to follow social media and be obsessed with what people are wearing and want to copy a certain lifestyle that is you cannot afford, that is a problem.
Yes, it's a problem.
Or get body issues because of how other people look. Yes. So it's what you do with it. But it's very worrying for me for young people who are not that grounded yet, because it can also be very... what's the word? It can also become a tool for them oppressing themselves.
Very misleading.
That bothers me.
Where people are getting suicidal now, all because of
And a lot of people are also losing their authenticity. So I see a lot of people looking the same, dressing the same. Every bride wants a certain look. It's kind of boring, actually.
That is Charlotte was saying. I should say, I remember that. So I had a message, Gifty. You know, if you need to tell me something important, you can just go ahead and say, stop sending me all these sort of messages. Take me out of your broadcast list.
I did that. Oh dear. Oh dear.
But I mean, it's good. That is you. And then, as you said, you need to. I think
because I manage my time.
Yes, as a woman, you always said you need to have your boundaries.
Yes, I manage my time. I manage my space.
Yeah.
I manage access. I manage the things I'm reading, and I get bored easily. So
you get. But from afar, some will get the impression that you have this wall around you where you're careful not to allow people to come in. You just you sieve through.
But even countries have borders. Why shouldn't humans?
On that note, let's move on to this is an election year.
Yes.
We have one party, NDC, nominating a woman, which is as a running mate, which is very exciting. But on the whole, we've been pushing for more women to go into public office. We've been pushing for women to stand for political office. But we keep getting, lower numbers. What do you think as a woman in politics, or women vying for positions of authority, we lack? That is making it so difficult for people to still push women out there, or even sometimes the women don't want to put themselves out there.
I think it's a lot of factors. First of all, if you take women vying for office, the structure of politics, and it's not just in Ghana, the structure of politics, the way politics happens, that structure does not make it easy for women to go in there. You're doing late night meetings, you're running around engaging. Women have home responsibilities. So that alone makes it difficult, the travels. It can be very tough. Then, when you take the whole media space, and ours is pretty toxic, you would think twice as a woman before you entered into that space, because you really need to wear your big girl panties, embrace yourself. Women are not judged the same way men are judged. And even if you take holding public positions, women are automatically presumed to be incompetent until they prove otherwise. Yeah, men are presumed to be competent in spite of all the evidence. So it's not an easy terrain for women to enter. So women need more support to get into that space. But where is that support going to come from? We are competing against men. And politics is a competitive sport. The man wants to win. He's not going to step back just because you're a woman. And the constituency of women have not really seen that as a constituency to champion that. Because, again, typical of women's lives, you're juggling so many other things. You're juggling a political party constituency. There's a party agenda. When are you going to have the space to deal with the agenda of women? So unless we have some affirmative action policy,
that's what I was coming to. Do you think the bill will ever be passed?
I don't think so.
Sadly,
no,
I don't think so.
But that's me being very pessimistic, and I hope I am wrong. I would like to be wrong about it, but I also know that we have a 1992 constitution that says that as soon as practicable, Parliament will pass laws for equitable distribution of matrimonial property and some other laws. It's still not practicable.
Sadly.
30 years later almost, so really. So I would hope I'm wrong and that we actually have the courage to pass the affirmative action bill into law. And that, I think, would galvanize and support and push women. Other than that, we'd have to wait for political parties to make it a policy that we would appoint this number of women into, because appointed offices is a good way to kickstart it. And representation matters.
Right. Yeah.
When women see other women doing it, that becomes aspirational.
Exactly.
That becomes a possibility.
Yeah.
We need to see more of that. So we hope that.
Yeah. Inclusivity, I mean,
it's
matters.
important.
And seeing that my kind is also there.
Listen to the feminine side. that balance is important, even in terms of policy making. You need diversity of views, and it's not just the feminine view. You need the views of persons with disabilities, because their experiences are very different from the experiences of able-bodied people. And if you go through life only looking at everything from your own perspective, it's flawed. So we need youth voices, we need voices of the age, we need voices of women, we need voices of persons with disabilities. Every time we've only listened to male voices, we all know where that has ended us.
We all know where that has ended. That's true. But, you know, we always get accused of, well, we give the opportunity to the women. They go, they don't prove themselves. They don't
have the men prove themselves.
That's what is used. And then you also, unfortunately, sometimes get our own kind also not playing ball,
but
as is suspected.
No, but you see, when they say that, I'm like, but women are humans. Can humans be selfish?
Yeah.
So women can be selfish. Can humans be wicked? We see evidence of male wickedness every day, but we don't say men are wicked. But they are human, so they have capacity to be wicked.
But some will argue that knowing our quote-unquote predicament, knowing our challenges in the environment we operate, shouldn't we be deliberate?
Who says men
shouldn't
don't
we
have
be
challenges?
Intentional in making sure we support with close ranks?
It would be nice, but you're dealing with humans. Why must we close ranks? And it's actually assuming that women have a commonality of interests. I don't think that's necessarily true. The fact that you're a woman, I'm a woman, does not mean that my needs are the same as yours, or my wants and my desires are the same as yours. And I think we should give people the freedom to be human. And that just means that people have different areas of focus, different aspirations, different ambitions. Just because we're women, it would be nice to say, oh, we all have this common challenge, but is it really common? I don't think so.
Is it really common?
No.
That's being realistic, isn't it?
I think so.
Yeah. Being realistic. It feels nice to sound idealistic, right?
Yeah, and then they'll always go, women are their own worst enemies. Are men their own best friends? They're fighting every day. But we don't go and say men are their own worst enemies, but they are. All the wars in this world have been caused by men fighting.
I know, right? And somehow women get blamed for that.
We didn't go fighting wars.
Yeah.
We have our little beefs, but that's about it. We're still better than the men.
Yeah, I do agree. I do agree. Were you a daddy's girl?
No.
More of mommy's girl?
I'm not even sure about that.
Grandma's girl?
Possibly, but they died early. I was just me.
What is your most memorable childhood experience growing up? Where did you grow up? Cape Coast, Accra, or Nigeria, as they say?
I grew up, part of my life was in Nigeria.
Oh, okay.
Part was in Accra, in my dad's house. Most memorable childhood, being chased by a chicken. And I still fear chickens. But, positive ones. My both parents' homes were very tight-knit. So I still have very close bonds with my siblings.
Okay.
But we're tight.
Right.
And even though we're a lot, we're not, there's no beef.
Right.
We're very supportive of each other, and I think that's nice. And very supportive of each other's children, and it's
so you have a big, extended family.
Yes, so there's no friction. There's everybody's just cool. And I think that's a blessing.
Right. And your children also born and all that?
Oh, they have aunties and uncles. They're always sending lists to who supplies.
And what's this obsession with plants?
I've always loved gardening. And it's a good obsession. Don't do your face like that.
I'm just asking.
I saw that look. I saw the little smirk there. What's wrong? What's wrong with that?
Because you are a tigress when it comes to people taking your plants.
That's not true. That's not true.
So that's a
there
nice
are so many
of
people,
me saying that. Then I'm coming for some.
I knew that was coming. There's so many people who have come and raided me. Some have threatened, haven't carried it out. I think I'm quite generous with my plants, but there are some exotic ones I will not be generous with. One, because they are really expensive. Two, I don't even trust the people who are asking for it to take good care of them. So I won't give it to them. But I love gardening. It's healing. It's what's the word?
When you say you love gardening, do you really get involved doing the gardening yourself?
Yes, I do. And because I love moving stuff around, I think everybody's happy that I take that to the garden and leave the home. But I'm that type.
Yeah.
But I love gardening. I enjoy it. I enjoy changing stuff. I enjoy growing stuff. I enjoy the beauty that it provides. I love it.
Yeah, an interest. So I have this token from
Old
Mutual for you.
Oh, thank you. That's so
we
sweet.
appreciate you. And it's a rainy season. I know you have been.
I don't actually. I need a brolly.
Oh, okay. Then this is for you. To say that we appreciate you. You have served and continue to serve, in many ways. And I see anytime you make a post, the number of people who write, it's like people are waiting for you to write. Have you noticed that? People just
are making me
do
feel
you
bad.
even read?
I do.
You do. Okay.
I read some.
Just saying that. Okay. So that's my book. It's a compilation of stories of some women, about 15 different women from different backgrounds. Okay. So it's not so when strong women cry, and it started with a conversation in my office where a group of young feminists came to visit me, and we're just chatting and we're venting. I mean, just venting. I'll let them know that it's okay for us as activists
to cry.
Yeah, as activists, yes, we do get a fatigue and all that. So, an advocate. So it's okay to, where sometimes you are forced to be this strong. And as you talked about that.
Who tells us we have to be anything?
But sometimes the pressure from society.
Yeah, so people need to drop the weight of other people's opinions.
Exactly.
It's such excess baggage.
Exactly.
Just drop it and be yourself.
But sometimes if you're not careful, you get into this place, I'll prove them wrong. I'll show them that I'm a strong woman. There's that. So
you don't have to show anyone anything. Show God.
Show God. So this
Thank
is
you.
My book.
I would read this.
Please read. And I know you will give me feedback.
I was just going to say that.
Yes, I know you
want feedback. Okay. I have witnesses. You ask for feedback. Okay.
Yes, you get that. But before we go, what's your message to the young women looking up to you and wish they can have that nugget from you? Because it's not every day. Yes, you do your own program there, but this is a platform where you have the thousands and millions watching you, that you can speak that word, that nugget.
It's a couple of things. Women should. We carry a lot of labels. Wife, mother, daughter, sister, auntie, boss. In all that, amongst all those labels, you need to get to the point of knowing who are you. And those are labels that can change overnight. So beyond all those labels, who are you? Identify yourself, know your own sense of self-worth. Draw your boundaries. Decide that this I can tolerate, this I cannot tolerate around me. Define those borders. And then have your own values. Because your values are like compass. And it's like your GPS. The world can be very confusing. The values, when you don't know whether to go left or to go right, or go around a roundabout, the values would guide you. So for instance, if I know that I can't take certain assignments beyond a certain period because I have committed that I must be available to my children. Right. So when a decision and an opportunity comes, 6 months, I'm like, I know I can't do it. So it kind of guides my decision. So have your own sense of self. Define your own values. Define your borders, what you would tolerate, what you would not tolerate. And so learn to listen to that inner voice and, of course, to God. Because otherwise, even the labels of men can confuse you. So name yourself and understand that life is constantly changing. So you must be adaptable. So you can be a wife today, you may not be a wife tomorrow. You can be a mother today, the children would grow. What are you without those labels? You can be CEO today, you may not be tomorrow. Beyond that, what are you? So that nothing changes and it completely destroys you. So prepare yourself to be adaptable to life, because life is constantly changing. And if you don't know who you are and set your own map, you're going to get into trouble. And do not give anybody the remote control to your life.
Do not give
Hold it.
anybody.
Change your channels yourself. Decide when you want to change your channel. Don't give that power to anybody.
Have I told you lately how much I love you?
Oh, I love you too.
Ladies and gentlemen, Charlotte OSEI, the ever-revolving, transforming, advancing woman with her remote control in her own hands, changing her channels. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And you'll come again when the book is getting ready.
Yes, I'll come when the book is.
I'll be back with a bit of me. You are in a very technical space. Is that what you set out to do?
No. When I came back to Ghana in 2002, I was working for a small IT company. My job there was to do business development.
Okay.
So my job there was definitely to sell IT solutions and equipment.
Right.
Which I was good at. And then one day I was walking past where the technical team was fixing an ATM.
Okay.
In my mind, I'd used an ATM, but I never stopped to wonder what an ATM looked like. So I saw them and I was like, is that all that it is? A screen and a keyboard? I just sort of stopped and I was like, why haven't I considered a career or doing something? You sign a check every day. Do you know what system clears the check?
Okay. No.
You go to your bank every day, you see your bank balance. Do you know what's behind the bank balance you see? You use your card every day. Every day I see people keying in a pin. Do you know how we get a pin for you? So for me, these were the nuances and the questions. And I just got asking, and I was like, okay, let me look at myself within the next 5 years. What am I going to achieve? I think if you look back in my career, everybody will tell you that everywhere Clara has worked is 4 to 5 years. And there's a reason for the 4 to 5 years. Fast forward to now, everybody's talking about mobile money. That was the beginning. Because we realized at some stage, I think I always give credit to some of the policies we've had in Ghana. It was tough at the beginning. When I see people talk about mobile money, I'm like, people have lost jobs trying to make mobile money work. But I think sometimes we just don't understand what effort's gone behind it.
That's true. That's the point. People have lost jobs.
Yeah. So for me, it was the beginning of that journey. So everything I see now is like, wow, we've done it.
As much as I would wish it were not true, it is a fact that most of us as women do not own our lives. We do not control our lives. We do not live our lives. We do not dream for ourselves. We let society, we let perceptions, we let social media, we let family, we let marriage, we let even the fact that we are mothers control our lives. That most of the time we are lost. In the midst of it all, we are lost. We lose the us. We lose the me, the I. As much as I believe that we do not live for ourselves, everything we do must be for the greater good. Without the I, without the me, without the you, it will not work. It will not work. So, my dear woman, in the midst of all the great things, all the bad things, all the noise, all the things that are going on around the world, find the you. And dare not to be ordinary. Dare not to be the usual. Dare not to be what people expect you to be. Be the unusual. It will take breaking barriers. It will take doing the unusual. It will take creating your own box and working with it for you to live a fulfilled life. I remain a woman with super crazy faith in God. but I know God has given us wisdom. And that wisdom includes taking care of the me, the I, and the you. Thanks for watching. See you same time next week. Bye for now.